Welcome to Rain City Supercars. This is the second time we're doing this. I'm Nick.
I'm Dan. Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back to the show. If you had been here for the live recording, you'd know that memory cards go bad.
It's a good one, too.
It's been walking the mean streets of Seattle, Dan. It went bad.
It's true.
That's what happens. So, yeah.
No support system for it.
It's been corrupted.
It's been corrupted. That's
I'll
not surprising with us.
I know. Well, speaking of corrupted, I got the estimate for the Maserati to the tune of $12,000.
That was an expensive deer.
Oh, dear, it was. I'll tell you.
The dearly departed left its mark.
I'll tell you. I mean, we did our best. Funny thing is I saw more deer leaving your house a couple nights ago, or I should say, Saturday night, in that same area. So I'm aware of them now.
Well, you got 2 more to go then, at least. Probably got a bigger truck.
I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to.
Borrow the Raptor.
Yeah, I'll borrow your Raptor. It'd be a lot easier. Yeah. So you got a winch now, so we're good.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can drag it out of there now.
Oh, good.
Dinner.
It was smaller. I didn't need a winch.
I just feel bad now.
Yeah, I know.
It's like squirrels. They're invasive and really terrible for everything, but I really like them.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Deer are the same way.
Yeah, I agree.
But we're brought to you by Avance Haggerty, Carter Subaru. Of course, we're recording at Drivers Club. Salvo Design. I got a compliment on my monkey shirt, by the way. Everybody loves our logo. Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you, Jeremy.
That must be nice. Yours fits.
It does. I will get more.
That's not your fault. But
I'm going to get hats, too, while we're at it. I got the confirmation we can get logos.
Yeah, let's get hats, because we all know how easy it is to find me a hat. Thanks. Good. Yeah, great.
That's what I was getting at, actually. I'm going to wear it around you all the time.
You bastard. Yeah, okay. Actually, the Dirtfish hats fits. I wear my Dirtfish hats.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that works.
Well, we'll figure it out. We'll get you a hat, I promise,
Thanks.
Nick.
I appreciate it, yeah.
Well, if you need to wipe some deer off your car, you can go to our friends at Griot's Garage and use our code RCS10.
That's really the only thing that Griot's doesn't sell is anti-deer.
Deer removal.
Do you remember those things you get at Chuck's that were the deer whistles and they never get it? I feel like it's like, duct tape this to the front of your car. It's like Canards of the 90s. That's pretty much.
Canards work, just not at any speed you would need them for on the street.
Exactly. On your Chevy Lumina? Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Yeah.
I think I've seen a Chevy Cavalier with Canards in the front.
Of course you have. And a Monte Carlo and everything. I mean, it's all the front-wheel drive cars.
Well, we have one more sponsor. Yeah. That is our friends at York Real Estate. We will be talking to Ray this episode. But before we get into that,
not that we haven't already talked to him.
We've talked to him a lot. We're going to talk to him more.
Yeah.
But first, we are going to talk about our Carter Subaru tip of the week.
Okay.
I almost said tip of the day because you say it so often, and I have to correct you.
Yes.
But this one comes from our friend Casey.
Wait, you're not doing it daily? Okay, yeah.
I'm trying to think of them daily. I have another one I have next week's episode tip already.
Look at you.
I know.
Always on the tip of the tip. Okay.
All right. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah.
This comes from Casey, the GM of Drivers Club. She posted a story over the weekend. She was at a wedding, and she was wearing a very nice pair of Christian Louboutin shoes. And
fancy.
She fancy. She does dress well.
Yes.
Those red soles, that's the shoes we're talking about this week. And you're like, what in the world does this have to do with cars? Well, this one is for the ladies and anybody else who wears high heels. We don't judge or discriminate here. If you like heels, I don't care. If you
want to feel pretty, we want you to feel pretty.
Exactly. You can wear what you want. But if you want to keep those soles nice and pretty and red, you want to go to your local detail shop that does paint protection installation.
Well, duh.
Obviously.
Yeah,
so
sure.
This has been circulating around a long time, but officially there's a lot of shops in the Pacific Northwest that do this, and they do it very well. Metropolitan Detail did hers in this case, and they used S-Tech Dyno Shield. They cut that to a custom pattern to the sole of her shoes, and after a night of walking around Seattle, still red soles, no scratches.
See, and that was my thing. I always figured, you'd have to rough them up. But do you think with the clear bra that it roughs up and it basically gives you traction? Because they're slippery.
They are slippery.
Not that I've worn a lot of pairs of high-heeled shoes in my life. I mean, probably more than I need. But, yeah. So.
From the people I have asked, I have not put on a pair of heels and tried this myself. But from the people I have asked.
Live a little, Dan.
I know. Yeah. My weekends are boring now. I just work on the farm.
You could wear a nice high heel on the farm.
We'll get back to that in a second.
Okay, yeah.
But they say it is no worse than a standard pair of shoes. Okay. And it does hold up really well. I did want to mention that if you do remove that film, it often will damage the paint on the bottom of the shoes. But you can get that refinished and do it again. There are a lot of places online that will repaint the bottom of the shoes to the red, and then you can do this again. But it'll last easily longer.
So it's going to last longer. I mean,
way longer.
As far as a marketing deal, I want to know the person that sat there. Kristen Louboutin was like, look, we're going to paint the heels of these shoes red, and then the women are going to walk on them, and then we're going to be able to sell them more. It's genius.
It really is.
Yeah,
I mean,
oh, your shoes don't have red on the bottom anymore. Are you poor now? It's like, geez.
Yeah.
I mean, they're beautiful shoes, but I think that's, you and I have talked about this too, like, because I collect a couple pairs of Jordans, and I do the sprays they have now.
Yeah,
but they're starting to make, I think you told me, a
ceramic spray.
Yeah, a ceramic spray, which would be kind of interesting, I think.
Yeah, so you can do the same thing on the top of the shoes. You can get ceramic coating for the top of the shoes. Now, you're probably not going to find as many people willing to do this to your shoes because there is the risk of changing the color. Like if you've ever done ceramic coating on a paint, it soaks into it. It bonds on a molecular level. We've talked about how that works before. But it can sometimes change the finish a little bit. Some people have had experience in it. So for patent leather, I know they've done it. It's been fine. But for cloth shoes, I've also seen it done, and it's been fine. But you might have some people a little wary to be like, yeah, you're going to sign here and say, if this screws this up, it's not my fault.
It's not my fault, yeah.
Yeah, but Ceramic Pro has great, ceramic coatings in general have great industrial applications, showers in high-end homes, things like that, kitchen countertops. I've seen it around furniture. It's kind of a new thing for that. But yeah, if you've got a nice pair of shoes, they make men's Louboutins as well. If you're a fashion person.
Why are you in your shower? Stop being lazy. Grab the squeegee the door when you get out of the shower. Everybody knows that.
I know that, but not everybody knows that, and I'm just going to end this conversation there.
It's really hard to do with my shower curtain, though. I'm like, so it's just
picture you doing
you get a new shower curtain. So, yeah, interesting. Okay, well, good to know.
So that's our Carter Super tip of the week.
Right.
A little not so common use for automotive application things. Bottom of your shoes.
This automotive tip brought to you by things that aren't automotive. Yeah. So, yeah. It'll protect you with your Louboutins as you're driving your Porsche against the pedals, so you're good.
Which is sexy. Just going to throw that out there.
Thank you. I'm glad you think it's sexy when I do that.
You're welcome, Nick.
Yes. I feel pretty.
As you should all
somebody
the time.
Somebody else's shoes and somebody else's Porsche.
Yeah. But this week on the show, we have Ray York with us.
Yeah. Who is a friend of ours. He's an Avance member. He's a car guy. And he happens to be to come up with the idea for our newest sponsorship from the York team. Welcome to the show, Ray.
Hey, thank you very much.
Yeah. If you listened to last week's episode, you know that what we're going to start doing is once or twice a month, we're going to take one of the York team's listings, and we're going to talk about it because and it's funny because if you're listening to this, we recorded this twice. We had a corrupt issue. So I'm trying to literally come back with the questions that I asked before. But one of the questions I kept coming up with is every time I look at a listing, I go, where's the pictures of the garage? And that's kind of how our conversation started because you were like, I have an idea that I think would be fun. So first of all, I want you to answer that question for me is why don't I ever get to see pictures of the garage?
Yes.
Well, one of the dirty little secrets of listing agents, which we are, is
dirty and little, or just okay, yeah,
not little.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
We do when it becomes time to declutter the home that's being listed, is put it all in the garage.
Okay,
yeah,
that makes sense.
Then you're not going to take a picture of a 2-car garage piled with stuff.
Yeah, but then I'll know how much crap I can shove in the garage with my car. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
sure. Right.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
That's true. Right. But when there is a situation where there's a beautiful garage, a beautiful shop, of course you showcase that. Sure. You don't put the things in the.
Speaking of that, and like I said, we're going to do this about twice a month, but you sent us one that Dan and I were just sort of absolutely drooling over today, and I believe it's in South. Where's it at, Dan?
It's in Ording.
I'm asking you.
Yeah.
The man that brought it.
Ray, where's it at?
Ray, where's it at? Yeah.
That'd be in Ording.
In Ording.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Ording,
Good
yes.
to know.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Sell
the farm?
Yeah, sell the farm. So
I can help you with that.
Yeah. There's some temptation. There's some real temptation here.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah.
So
what's it sit on? Like it's a small little plot of
33
land.
and a half acres.
Oh, just 33.
So short-range shooters, long-range shooters, hunters who don't want to report it. Just kidding. I wouldn't say that out loud on the show. I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
Maserati drivers.
Maserati drivers.
The view of Dan Putnam does not represent the views of Rain City Supercars. So, yeah.
No, but 33 and a half acres in a gated community, that alone is the potential for more. Especially, let me start with the price here, 1.25.
Yeah.
Which is, given our market in the area, I mean, you're a little ways out, but you're not going to find 33 and a half acres in town. Okay. And a bunch of us work from home. Basically, if you've got internet, which looking at the plugs in this place, unlike my house, it does, you can actually do that. And this would be it wouldn't a 1 day or 2 day commute to Redmond or wherever your tech office is, because that's probably who's listening to this. It's not a bad deal. But that's not even the highlight of this place.
Yeah, 33 acres to be able to have your own NASCAR track, shooting range. What's the best part, Dan?
The 8-car garage.
Oh, okay.
That the floor is so shiny, I can see the perfect reflection of the neon sign they have in the garage.
I'm starting to think that Ray coming on as a sponsor is going to make us work a lot harder.
Right.
A lot harder. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need this. Yeah.
Hey, there's a lot of people moving farther out. Davis and Matt moved over out to Fox Island off the water. We have a lot of friends.
Yeah, but we know why, Matt.
But I mean, this isn't that far. You're just up 18 into Maple Valley, and then that's not 18. Which one is that? I can't remember the highway. 169.
You don't know the
410
road.
to 169.
We have even better problems.
I know, right? Yeah, 410 to 169, and you're on your way. But so for a couple days a week commute and have that much land.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and we don't want to beat people ahead, but we do. I mean, we know people out there. They're looking for houses. They're looking for places. That's one of the biggest first question we ask is, where am I going to put the cars?
Yeah. Well, I wish I'd talked to Cameron because he bought a place up in Arlington.
Oh, okay.
And that's about in the range. I mean, he got a really nice place up there. Don't get me wrong, but like that's pretty much equal distance if you're working in this area, Arlington to there. And this is 33 acres.
Imagine being from up in Arlington. I mean, that would be weird, right?
Yeah, Arlington's
super weird.
Yeah.
Those weird people up there.
Weird people.
Anyway, but I mean, the house is beautiful too. Like, it's not one of those places where they spend all the money in the shop and the house is like that rundown pile on the side, which I would do, but other people wouldn't.
Yeah.
But everything else about this listing is great, and it's perfect for a gearhead home, which I really want to drive here with Ray. Is that he knows what you're looking for, gearheads, and that's why like in the very beginning of the show, I promised people that we would never take on a sponsor like a mattress. So we're like, unless you have one specifically made for overlanding.
Well, and I want to retract that because Dan and I are getting older. We may have a mattress sponsor someday.
I got a really nice one the other day from Purple.
We're getting old. It may happen someday. This episode is brought to you by our backs that we broke driving cars. So, yeah.
But if you want to check out this listing, text RCS to 59559, and you can do this on any listing or anything you want to hear. If you want to talk to Ray, Avance members, there are a lot of you. Reach out to Ray. He's your local guy, and he can find you that house for that car collection you are trying to build, as we all are.
If you're having a hard time talking to your young children about the birds and the bees, call Ray. He will do it for you. He's very good at that.
Wrong?
Yeah, exactly. He's very blunt. I mean, there will be crying from Ray and your child afterwards, but it will be done. So
I am your full service.
There you go. Well, Ray, welcome to the show. Welcome as a sponsor. We're glad to have you. We've known you for a while, but I want our listeners to kind of get to know you. And like I said, we've been joking about the fact that we've done this before already. So I know where you're from now. So where'd you come from?
Arlington.
Really? You don't say.
Yeah,
just weird area. Who would come from
there? Up there in Dantown or whatever. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, Dan's younger than me, so I'm going to say Raytown.
Okay. Wow, great.
Yeah.
That works. That works. But yeah, you guys both grew up north. I mean, you were. In fact, I think we were talking. I mean, your dad worked at the school, the elementary school he went to. Correct, Dan? Why am I interviewing both of you? Correct, Dan?
Exactly. Yes, Nick. Thank you.
We never either.
Yeah. So I grew up in Trafton. Well, I grew up in Arlington, but my grandparents who raised me lived in Trafton, and then we had the sawmill out in Oso near the landslide.
Yeah, I believe from my research that I did before this, your grandparents owned a sawmill, correct?
They did.
They did. And you started working there as a young child?
Yeah, fourth grade.
Oh, fourth grade. Yeah, okay, I see. Yeah. Somebody had to clean the saw blades with small hands. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Here, like this.
It's hot. My favorite color is potato. So, yeah.
Yeah, my first paycheck was $0.25.
Well, but that's... In fourth grade, that's a lot of money.
Right.
I mean, that's at least one gumball, right?
Half of one.
Yeah. Not a good one.
Right.
Right.
That's how those machines would always screw with you because you thought they were a quarter, then they had that extra slot.
Right, for the nickel.
And if you got the quarter one, you almost broke your jaw biting into it.
Right.
But it lasted like an hour.
Yeah, that's true. That's
why it was called a jawbreaker.
Is this jerky?
Yeah. I really wish people could see you making those motions. But so you grew up in North. You obviously family sawmill. But what was your first car?
So my first car was a hand-me-down from my dad, which was his Triumph Spitfire.
The loves of driving a Triumph.
Yeah, I had a love of British vehicles.
And this was at the age of 16, correct?
Like 10, 11.
Oh, 10 or 11.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
It's I keep forgetting Arlington. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Where as long as you can stick the ignition and see above the steering wheel, you can drive it, right?
Right.
Ish.
Just above the dash.
Just above. Well,
Right.
it's British. You're fine.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my grandparents had 7 acres in Trafton and big enough space where I actually had a dirt bike, so I learned how to shift on my RM80.
Ooh, okay.
And then I eventually got an RM100.
Okay.
Yeah.
Working your way up.
Yep.
2-stroke cold smoke.
That's right. And then my dad just showed up one day and went, "I don't want this anymore." And I said, "Oh, that sounds good to me." So I used to drive it. I used to drive it around my dirt bike track behind their house, and then one day a guy who lived up the hill from us stopped in with a 1960 Ford Comet and said, "I don't want this anymore. I see you driving out here all the time. Do you want it?" And I said, "Yes." So I actually learned how to 2-wheel in that, side wheel, hit the berm really hard, and
Perfect car for a dirt bike track.
yeah, it was great.
Everybody knows Comets can turn really well. That's the one. I think that was in the brochure. Comets don't just go straight.
The good thing about it is it would roll all the way over back onto its wheels.
Well, that's nice. So you rolled it.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
Arlington
Oh, okay,
things.
yeah. Exactly.
Arlington things.
That'll buff out.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Well, it wouldn't scar, it wouldn't get a dent, it wouldn't get a scratch, run into a tree, nothing.
Well,
it was
yeah.
a tank.
American craftsmanship, steel.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
One great thing about so my most popular drive is the stress reliever on Dan's drives. And guess that goes right up 9, past Trafton. Like, you can see all those spots as the listeners who've done that drive. There's some great spots out there, but some of the best driving roads are right out there because you go out past Darrington and suddenly, like, to this day, the population suddenly decreases. Super weird. Don't know why. But there's Skagit Valley Highway out there, up Highway 20 over Baker. Like, there's a million back roads out there. And if you've got a fun vehicle, not a low car, it's a gravel road, Kavanaugh Road over the top of the mountain there, still a killer road. Literally a killer road when we were younger, and there was all the erosion, and we'd almost fall off of it. But it was a really fun road. In the winter, we'd go
1,
up
2,
there
3,
in the
don't
snow.
die.
Yeah, we'd go up there in the snow all winter long. It was just a great area to grow up in. Yeah.
Interesting.
So
those of us that grew up in the city, we didn't have these things. But okay, I had a big wheel. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
But my first street vehicle was 1966 SS 396 Chevelle.
Did your parents not like you, or what? I mean,
it was my money and my dad's desire to go shopping for cars. So
okay.
he said, "Grab your money. We're going to Aurora."
Okay.
And we drove up and down.
That didn't sound quite right. Whoa, all right. Son, it's time to become a man.
We're going to teach you about being a man.
I thought I was getting a car. I'll
Here's
never
some money,
get rid
here's
of
some
that.
penicillin, have a good time. That's a great spot for a break.
Yeah, that probably is. Yeah, let's take a quick break, and we'll be back right after this.
We spend an average of 8 hours and 41 minutes a day facing screens. Laptops, smartphones, tablets, even digital refrigerators. But what are we really connected to? Isn't it time you connected to something greater? Sometimes the best way to connect is to disconnect. This moment of escape was created by Haggerty for people who love cars.
And we're back on Aurora.
So you're wandering
Cruising.
down Aurora with your money and your father. What are you looking for? Something with 4 wheels?
We're looking for a hot rod.
Okay, fair enough. So you knew you wanted a hot rod as your first car. Something, which is insane to me because, I've talked about it. My first car was a '79 Ford Granada that my mom knew wouldn't go fast, couldn't kill me. But I can't imagine trying to talk my parents into getting an SS. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, I was fortunate that my dad very much a gearhead, speed guy. I mean, when I was born, he had a split window Corvette, and then I believe a Carmen Ghia, and
Okay.
all the things.
Your dad liked to drive fun cars.
All the things I got mad at him for selling. Like, why'd you get rid of those things? He says, "Well, you're here."
Yeah.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah.
So that Carmen Ghia is worth some money now.
Yeah.
Look at the prices on those. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're growing up there. You're working in the sawmill. You're constantly probably working on that car because I'm assuming if you got a car on Aurora, it probably ran for just days.
It ran really, really well until I grenaded the motor, and that was maybe like 2 weeks in.
Oh, okay.
Now, was that your fault or the car's fault?
Well, if you ask my dad, it was my fault. But I'm going to tell you that the oil pickup fell into the tank.
Oh.
It's big block Chevy is kind of a normal thing for them. It wasn't brazed on. And so I was driving a little bit fast.
Accelerating briskly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's another guy by me that was doing the same thing.
Oh, okay.
And all of a sudden, the motor stopped.
Oh, that's weird.
And the tires locked up, and it was really bad.
Okay.
Yeah. So that motor went away. And I went and bought another 396 short block and took the heads off of the old one and put them in the cam, and not the cam, but anyway, rebuilt that. And
did you kind of did your dad teach you how to work on cars, or where'd you get the knowledge from?
So sawmill, we had millwrights, and those guys can kind of fix everything with welding and bubble gum, and
duct tape,
baling wire.
Yeah.
Anyway, he came over. One of the millwrights came over and said, "This is what you do," and I did it. And so basically, just kind of, here it is. You broke it. Now you fix it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, I think we've all been there where somebody's been like, you can fix it. I'll be here if you need it, but you broke it, you fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't care how long you sit there and scream and throw things at the wall. Eventually, you've got to figure it out and fix it.
Yeah. No car, no go.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So what was the next car? Tell us the rest of the story.
Yeah. So
now that you've bought a reliable car,
right?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Still, I haven't learned my lesson. I'm 53 years old. Haven't learned my lesson. I drive a BMW now, so
yeah, and a cheap one too.
Yeah, super.
One that's easy to fix and so cost effective. Yeah, okay.
There's no issues on those.
Yeah, exactly.
I just paid $2,000 for an oil change on the transmission.
Yeah,
so.
sure.
Yeah, that's great. So I learned pretty quickly that I had to have a backup vehicle, so I bought a Chevy Love. And so that was, it could haul engines and transmissions and rear ends, which oddly I needed. And so that was neither one of them ran at the same time.
I've been in that situation.
Yeah. I'm taking the bus. Don't you own 2 cars? Uh-huh. Yep.
So, I went from that to eventually I bought a new Toyota pickup, 4-wheel drive, not the SR5, just the stripped down, like the radio was an option.
Yeah.
And drove that
truck, though.
I've got a wallet slot.
Yeah.
Right.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Nice.
And drove that for a while, and then eventually bought a Chevy Lumina, if you remember those.
Yeah. Days of Thunder.
Days of Thunder.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
And then I bought a Monte Carlo, which is when I met Dale Earnhardt.
Okay, well, hold on a second.
He comes with the car.
Whoa. Yeah, you buy my Monte Carlo. What year was that Monte Carlo, out of curiosity?
Ooh, I have to really dig deep. I want to say 96, 95.
So it was when that newer one came out and it had I remember those. And those were, interesting in the fact that they hadn't been making them for a while, right? And then they came back and they were.
It was the reintroduction of the
Very cool.
Right.
So was that part of the thing, is to be able to meet?
It wasn't. I had bought the Lumina and somehow just cohesively fell in love with NASCAR at the same time.
Okay.
And I didn't know who Dale Earnhardt was, and I would watch the races, and I'm like, that guy in the black car can really drive.
That guy's fast.
Yeah. And
I want one of them.
And he doesn't really care that other people don't like him and whatever. He just, I'll put the car there. And I really, really liked him, and I was like, oh, that's the same car I have. Kind of.
Yeah.
And
a couple of modifications.
A little bit different.
Some minor bolt-ons.
Yeah. No big deal. So anyway, then I had run the wheels off of that and then traded in for a Monte Carlo.
Did you get it new?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, okay.
I think maybe it's you who said never buy first gen anything.
Yes.
Yeah, totally true with the Monte Carlo. I learned that the really hard way.
Even in a reliable brand like Chevy, huh?
I know, right?
Yeah.
This is the guy with the Z06 that had overheating issues.
Didn't a rock go through your radiator or something like that?
That was the first gen C7 Z06s, 16 and prior, so 15, 16. The cover on the supercharger, the literal cover on top of it, wasn't high enough. And so as it spun and the oil spun, it would heat soak the supercharger and it put it in limp mode on the track. On the street, you'd probably never see it unless you were really moving. But on the track, you guys would run into it. They couldn't do full lap times on the track. And so you could switch the cover out, which Chevy should have done the right thing, but they never do, and should have made that a recall. But they fixed it on the 17 and newer.
When was the ZR1 was the first generation because that had the glass in the hood, but which would maybe
that was C6.
Oh, that was C6. Okay.
C6 Z06 was naturally aspirated Z07 427,
right, okay.
which had the cam issues.
You remember? I've forgotten more things. I don't know. So did you order this Monte Carlo?
So I bought the Monte Carlo at Roy Robinson Chevrolet in Marysville, and I actually had to. They didn't have it in stock, and they had one in Sumner, so I drove down there, and I said I'll take that, and I'll drive that home, and so I did the trade that way. So I did my own car transport for Roy Robinson.
Well, that's nice.
It was nice of me.
So how does Dale Earnhardt get into this?
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to the sawmill, I was selling lumber for the sawmill. I was in North Carolina, and it was between the Rockingham race and the Atlanta race, and I actually was there to see a few different buyers. One of them being Georgia Pacific, and Georgia Pacific was sponsoring the Atlanta race.
Oh, okay.
So hey, come put together the yearly buy for lumber, and then we'll go to the racetrack and watch the race.
Cool. That sounds horrible.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Right?
It doesn't end well, I promise you. So had a little extra time. I knew we were near Dale Earnhardt Chevrolet, and so went in with my sales rep and popped in there and went into the memorabilia store, and I heard the lady on the phone kind of whispering to her friend that Dale was there.
Oh.
And so I walked up with my merchandise I was buying, and I said,
here's my bobblehead, here's my poster.
Yeah.
Where is he?
Dale Earnhardt Drive.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I asked, I said, hey, I happen to hear you. And I said, I'm one of like 3 people who even knows who Dale Earnhardt is from Washington State.
Still true.
It means more to me than you think. Yeah. I've done my research, yeah.
Is it possible that I could meet him? And she said, I didn't say that. And if I even were to ask, I'd be fired.
Oh.
Okay. I don't want you to lose your job over there.
Yeah. Understood.
Well, we have different looks. I'd be like, and I'm buying a bobblehead. You owe me, so let's go. Come on. Yeah.
So go out, and I'm looking at now they have the Dale Earnhardt signature Monte Carlos that only he's selling.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. It's just basically a vinyl sticker
Yeah,
on
I
the
know
C-pillar.
the ones.
Yeah. And I'm out looking at it.
And a large upcharge.
Yeah, huge upcharge. Yeah. So anyway, I'm looking at them, and I do the same thing with the sales guy. I'm like, here, you might be here. And he says, I can't even ask. I'll get fired.
Good
all right,
Lord.
like, fine. And I had always heard that he was kind of a jerk. And so I'm like, I guess he's a jerk. So anyway, we're backing out. I'm in a Oldsmobile rental, backing out, and the rep I'm with smacks me in the chest. There he is. Hit the brakes, literally.
Get him, Ray.
I see Dale and Teresa and Benny Parsons getting into an Impala SS, which at the time was one of my dream cars. And so I put it in drive, pull back up. Dale notices the commotion.
Block him in. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You're not going anywhere.
Yeah. So Dale walks up, sticks his head in my driver's side window and says, I'm Dale Earnhardt. I'm like, I know.
Never heard of you. Could you get out of my way? Yeah, exactly.
He says, you have something you want me to sign? And I'm like, yeah.
So for the non-verbal people, Ray just took his shirt off. There's a signature over his heart right now. It's
a little dirty, but still there.
My name really wasn't Dale Earnhardt. Oh, that sucks. No, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
So he asked a little bit about me, and I said I'm from Washington, and the whole thing. And he says, I'm going to go across the street and talk to my neighbor. If you got 5 minutes, just hang out, and I'll talk to you. I got all day.
Yeah.
So I pull up.
Are you going to fire anybody?
Start with that girl.
She told me you were here, and then he told me. Okay.
So I pull up to the showroom, and this, the Southern gentleman car salesman, he just, without missing a beat, he's actually smoking a cigar, says, I don't know what state you're from, son, but if they sell lotto tickets, you better buy one.
Fair enough. Okay.
You're the luckiest man alive.
I say, boy, I do declare.
He's in a good mood today.
Exactly.
So Dale came back, and he says, what I gotta do to get you out of that Oldsmobile? And I said, well, that's a rental. I'm from Seattle, like we mentioned. Oh, yeah, I raced at Evergreen Speedway up there in Monroe.
Yeah.
That's nice track. Like, well, it's been a while since you've been there.
Yeah.
How old are you? Yeah.
So I said, I'll tell you what, Dale, I'll make a deal with you. If I just bought a Monte Carlo, but I'll fly home. I'll drive it back down here, and I'll buy one of those, the Dale Earnhardt signature ones, but you have to be my sales guy. He says, well, I can't guarantee you that. I says, well, when are you going to be back? I'll make sure I'm here at that time. He, well, I can't do that.
Fine, I guess you don't want the deal.
So, but what he does say is, I'll tell you what, are you going to the Atlanta race? I said, I am. And I said, I'm actually a guest of Georgia Pacific. He says, perfect. You already have the pit pass. When you come to the race, I'm going to have your name with my people.
Just ask one of my staff members if you can meet me.
And we'll get a picture of you in the race car.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm like, are you kidding me? Yeah, we'll do it. Yeah, Arlington boy, or not Arlington, Seattle guy. So, like, that's amazing. Part of the story, which I've kind of skipped over, is the guy I'm with, my sales rep. I didn't have a camera. I also had was a camcorder. Remember those with the big VHS tape?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, when the whole thing starts, I'm like, just take a video of Dale and I. He's like, okay, cool. So he starts to take the video, and he's like, I'm not sure it's working. I'm like, okay, cool, 1 second. I go over to him. I'm like, I hit the record button. I'm like, don't touch anything, and it'll be just fine. So he picks it up, and the whole interaction happens. We drive away, and he is purple. He's just devastated. He's like, I think we have a problem. I'm like, what's the problem? I don't think I got all of it. I'm like, well, you get some of it? So...
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So you recorded this or didn't record this, and then you showed up to our show tonight, and our board went bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm starting to see a correlation here, bud.
I mean, it might be a thing.
Maybe Dale Earnhardt's on our memory card.
Right?
Okay. Yeah.
It's the spirit of Dale.
He just has an electromagnetic field that's messing everything up right now.
Okay. So he thinks we have a problem.
I'm watching the screen like a hawk right now. I'm like, please keep working.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so pull off the side of the road, hit play, and basically it's just the camera panning from the ground up and him hitting the stop button.
Oh, yeah.
So at least there's evidence of me and Dale together, but missed the entire interaction.
You can't see the arrest or the war. Yeah.
None of that.
Exactly.
None of that.
Okay.
It's right up there with the Bigfoot tapes.
Yeah. The kokanee Bigfoot. So did you go to the race?
I'll make it as short as possible. The sales rep at Georgia Pacific was a real pain, and he says, meet me at this 76 station on Peachtree at 4 a.m. and we'll drive to the track because we can get set up. And 4 a.m. came, 4:30 came, 5 came. I finally call information back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, I need the phone number for this guy. And his girlfriend answers, and I'm like, is he there? Oh, no, he left for the track like 2.5 hours ago.
Did he?
He did.
Okay.
Yeah. So he stiffed me.
Oh, that's nice.
I didn't get to go to the track. I didn't go to.
Okay.
Well, the fun thing is he was going to buy his entire year's allotment of lumber from me, and I was still on East Coast time. I went back and sold it to somebody else.
Dale's still sitting back there waiting for you to.
Right? Yeah. Where's that Ray guy?
Exactly. Where's that Ray guy? A lot of people say that, just so they go the other direction. Where's Ray? I'm going that way. No. So.
How old were you when all this happened? You're still in your early 20s then, right?
Yeah, I was in my early 20s.
Yeah.
Allegedly. We're not even sure this happened. There's no video of it. No.
Right. No,
Right.
Stop the tape. That's me. I swear. Yeah.
How did you go from lumber industry all the way to real estate? What was the journey there?
Well, going back to my dad, so I want to say real quickly, my dad, Herb York, myself, and my daughter, Felicia, I believe, I ran it past Adam, not 100% sure that it's true, but he says, yeah, sounds right. I think we're the first 3-generation members of Avance, and I'm kind of proud of that.
Yeah.
We'll make it official. It's fine.
It's official.
We don't need Adam for
You're
that.
the first one to claim it. Whoever else doesn't matter.
All right.
Yeah,
So
there you go.
So we're it. So Dad actually started an optics business, a mail order company, and I ended up leaving the lumber industry, going to running the mail order company at the turn of the century, 99.
Uh-huh.
I was
Back in the day, yeah.
I was in tech leading up to Y2K, and I quit in November of 99 and went to work at a telescope shop.
Okay.
Hope it works.
Yeah. The sky will still be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
Who knows if the computer will work? Yeah. Sure.
Fair point.
And then so we meaning my family, my daughter Felicia, my son Colton, and my now ex-wife Margaret, we lived above the telescope shop, and it was time to buy a house. And going through that process, I just fell in love with real estate. And it wasn't as technical or easy to find information as it is now. And I really loved the process and the hunt and all that, and I just fell in love with real estate. So I ended up getting licensed and thought I could kind of do it on the side. And then, working with family and all that, it eventually it just needed to kind of come to an end. And so I left the telescope shop and the mail order company and went into real estate. Yeah.
So you had about, 20 years under your belt then?
No, I started in real estate in 2006.
Oh, that was a tough transition. This is great. This is not great. This is great.
It's going to get great again, right?
Yeah, I ended up selling new construction for a long time for the biggest builder in the area at the time. And my first day on site was July 17th of 2007, which is, for the most part, the day everyone says the bubble blew up right there. I'm like, oh, I'm going to be full-time in this now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been full-time since. I've never done anything about that.
The camera stopped working. Our stuff stopped working. And the day he went into real estate, the world went to... Anybody
seen any comments lately?
Yeah, no,
you should be worried.
Yeah, good. Look, well, if we had a good telescope, we could see
I was
that.
just
But we
thinking
don't,
that.
do we? Because he left the business. So, yeah, that's good to know.
Disaster just following as he goes.
I'm telling you, good God. Then the dam broke. We don't even live around the water.
There was a big mudslide up there.
Exactly. Jeez. Good Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and the funny thing is, and you'd know this if the first episode had come out of this, but when you were 18, you were working at the flumber mill.
The flumber mill.
The flumber mill. And your father fired you on your graduation day.
Right.
He said, you're not going to be in the lumber business anymore.
Yeah. He gave me a hug, said, you've done something I have not done, and you're unemployed.
Knock, knock. Who's there? Not you anymore. I mean, that's cool. Look, I mean, bona fide kick in the ass that you probably didn't want at the time, but I mean, that's neat. I mean, it sounds like you went back and, like you said, or you wouldn't have met Dale Earnhardt, allegedly. And then your Sony camcorder broke. Sony guts. So, yeah.
Yeah, I went through a variety of other jobs. My first job, not only that, he gave me a challenge. You're not going to find a job for more than minimum wage. At the time, was $5 an hour. Yeah, because I'm old.
So my first job was $3.75, I think, because I could work when I was 14.
Okay, what
I worked.
What were you doing?
I was.
Sorry.
I was working at O'Brien's Turkey House, which you know about.
Oh yeah.
And I started off as
mating turkeys.
No, I'd come in after hours. I'd help clean up. And break
after
down
the mating turkeys?
Break down boxes, do
Yeah.
like the last bussing of the restaurant, vacuum. I'd just come in for a couple hours, as much as they'd let me work. And there, even though you couldn't work, they would still let you work. It was Arlington.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Nobody's checking.
Yeah, nobody's checking. Nobody cares. So
Childhood labor.
they were just like, yeah, if they
The
ask,
childhood's over at
if they
12.
ask, you're my nephew. Okay.
Okay. Who are you? I don't know. I was abandoned. Yeah.
Yeah. So my first job was driving a cement truck and then a double dump truck.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, you've done it all.
Yep. I had my own detail shop.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm good. This is more fuel for you, but.
Here goes, Nick. It's like he knows you.
Oh, please.
My detail shop, when I finally went full time doing that, coincided with the first Gulf War.
Bye, everybody.
Which killed the auto industry.
Yeah.
Which then killed the detail shop. Yeah.
You can't write this. I mean, like, you just couldn't. It's like, he's single-handedly trying to ruin the world.
Maybe you should get into ammo sales or open a gun shop.
Yeah.
Well, that's what my dad does now. So yeah.
Oh. Which one?
It was anacortes.guns.com.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Cool.
Need some ammo, just thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
We recently moved him to Colville, so sold his property in Anacortes and he bought a property in Colville.
That's neat.
Yeah.
That's neat. Okay. Is the lumber mill still around?
No, Dad was right. The runway was short, and it pretty much we were in Cedar, so we did fencing and decking and siding and outdoor woods. And
The smell of cedar.
yeah, it's amazing.
Oh, God, yeah.
And that ended in the late 90s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I remember that place, I think. I want to say I think you can still see the skeleton and the bones.
Still there,
right? Yeah.
Still there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I stop by there and walk through there every now and again.
Was that McDowell Road or something that's up there? I can't remember the name of that road. That's
It's right on 530.
yeah, but I'm trying to think if there's the next cross street up that I've been down a bunch of times. But
That wasn't the one that was in that movie with The Rock, right? Like about the small town in Washington.
No.
The lumber mill. Okay.
Same industry.
Kinda.
But that was
on the peninsula.
on the peninsula. Yeah.
It was Forks, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not just Twilight.
Yeah. What's Twilight? Is that the sparkly vampires one?
It is.
Wow. In harmony. Nice job, guys. Nice job.
We practiced.
Yeah. Well, it's
not right.
Yeah. Jeez. So let's talk. So your daily driver's E92 M3, which is a beautiful car.
Thank you.
How many miles are on that car?
The danger zone, I'm at 98,000 miles.
Oh, well, have you owned it since new?
No. I bought it 3 years ago.
Okay. You like it?
I love it. I love that
They're neat
car.
cars.
Yeah.
They really are neat cars.
Every car, when you buy it, at least for me, not every car, but every good car that you buy, you're like, I'm going to keep this forever. Mm-hmm. And I've had this for 3 years. I spent a lot of money on it, and I still say, I'm going to keep this forever. So the plan is...
Dan doesn't work that way.
No.
Dan's
I'm going to
planning
keep this for maybe 3 years.
Dan's planning to sell the car before he buys it. He's like, yeah.
I had no idea how much they're going for. A friend called me up and like, I want to buy one. What do you think? And I'm like, you should buy one. And he's like, yeah, like $40,000. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Anything with an enthusiast appeal right now is at its market peak.
If you want one of those M3s, you should have $60,000 because you're going to need the extra 20. You're going to need it. Yeah.
Not wrong.
Yeah. But like you were saying, doing the transmission change is not cheap. Yeah.
$2,000. They pretty much have to drop the front clip down. Because I had to do the bottom pan, side pan, and oil.
Hit a deer, they'll take the clip off. It's
good call.
much easier. Much easier.
Yeah.
It's like Audi cam timing belts. Totally easy. Made for maintenance.
Well, you should take the front end of the car off.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Drop the engine.
Yeah.
Still one of the best driving BMWs out there. I like the E92 body. That's one of my favorites. So.
The V8 in that is just, I mean, we've had
proper sound.
Yeah, we've had every series of the 3 up until the 2015, but everything prior to that. And this one, I mean, it's heavy, right? It's a little heavier than the normal 3 series, but man, with that V8 and shifting at 85, if you have the guts to go to 8,500 RPMs,
that was big when they put that V8 in it. Like that was a big upswing. I was telling Ray before you got here, it was the infamous story. Like I was at Camp BMW, and I remember now it was the E46 when they had it, but they had the paddle shifters.
Yeah,
they're terrible.
And you couldn't drive it. They wouldn't let you drive it, but. He turned on the auxiliary switch, the salesman, and he looks at me and he clicks the pad. He goes, "It just shifted." And I was like, had I known what I know now, I would have been like, "No, it didn't."
Yeah.
No, it just broke.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. Yeah.
You just took half the life off that SMG.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice job. You're supposed to start that. Yeah.
What's on your radar with Avance? And you're really active at Avance. I've missed you at a lot of shows, but I've seen your photos from every show that's supposed to be at. What's next on your list after the M3?
Car wise?
Yeah.
I'm going to keep the M3. I mean that. I'm going to store it somewhere. And I'll probably get, I really have an itch for the Giulia.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a great car.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially the Quadrifoglio.
And that's what I want.
Not exactly the best commuter.
Yeah. Well, the good news is I work from home, right? So I drive when I want to for the most part. And my wife, is not a huge fan of the stiff ride of the M3, and she has the Stelvio. So
that's right.
It's a reasonable transition to go to the Giulia. I want the QV. Yeah.
I wish they would make a performance version of the Ghibli, like they do with the Alpha. Like I mean, they did, but my point is, it took them forever. And like Alpha came out with that so quickly.
They make a Hellcat, Nick.
You're such a. I'd die for the Hellcat engine. I'll take a hell of an engine in there any day.
I know, wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah, that'd be absolutely awesome. Yeah, great. Yes, I walked right into that one too.
I was like, really? I looked at him too. I was like, you signed me up for this one. You know you did.
I'm gonna stop talking now. Yeah.
I'll just hit a few more deer.
No, it's bad enough. Yeah.
All right, real estate question. What are the worst? I've been laughing at the flip houses I've seen all the time. You get inside flip houses and it's like you grab the railing and the whole wall comes off.
Yeah.
What's the worst house you've come across?
And who owned it? What is their name? No.
Yeah.
This is going to sound absolutely terrible, but it was my mom's house.
Oh, really?
Exactly.
Oh, the daughter agrees. Felicia's like, yep, it is.
Yep.
So, my stepdad had passed away. No tears, it's okay. And my mom, and between my mom and my stepdad, they were hoarders. They had a place in Grand Falls. And this was right when I left new construction and went into resale. And Beth, my wife, who's been in resale for longer than I have, we walk in, and keep in mind, I'm a new construction guy, so somebody else vacuums, somebody else cleans everything. I just show up, open my laptop, and I sell real estate.
Yeah.
Well, that's not the way it works in resale.
Yeah.
So we walk in, and we get just a few feet into the house. There's so much junk everywhere, and I just start saying, nope, not doing it. Not doing it. And
My love only goes so far.
Yeah. We're going to refer this to somebody else.
Yeah.
This is too much, not good. And so Beth grabs my shoulder and she goes, it's going to be okay. We're going to do it. Like, we are not doing this. Yes, we are.
We're going to find some dead animals, but we're not. Yeah.
It was not pleasant. It was the right way to break me into resale because like
in a hazmat suit.
Yeah, exactly. It was the reference standard for bad.
And this is along this topic. Sarah has gotten me into watching that show, Hoarders. There are so many people in Washington that are on that show. Yeah, so many people. Like it's something to do with our weather and depression.
I was going to say, they don't want to go outside. You mean?
I don't know. It's like I could not believe that. Yeah.
I see them all the time. We talked about it before in the body shop industry. I'd get cars in from an accident, and of course they come straight in from the accident. They don't go home and get cleaned out.
Right.
And I come in there, and I've had to make that call to the hazmat team. Be like, I can't get in this car. I can't inspect it. The guy he's dumped in the corner of my lot, and I'll literally put it on jacks, wheel jacks, and move it into a corner out of the way until the hazmat team gets there. Because I'm like, there is literally something looking at me in the passenger seat. I am not getting in that car.
Yeah, it's a lie.
Well, you open up bed bugs, cockroaches.
Okay.
You see them in the car. I've seen it's worse in houses.
Yeah,
there's a lot more space for them to occupy.
So your stepfather had passed. Your mom was still living there.
Mom, for the most part, was finally free and just kind of threw the keys at me as she was heading for Arizona and said, "Good luck." Yeah, right.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You deal with it. Yeah,
Your problem.
Yeah. Let me know what you get. Have a good time.
Right. Yeah. I'm not going to tell her about this episode.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Well, sounds like she did okay now.
Yeah.
It all worked out.
Exactly.
Yeah, she's
now
down
he
in
came
Arizona.
and cleaned up her mess. Jeez.
Yeah. I love Arizona. I don't blame her.
Right.
All right. Let's take our next break. We'll be right back.
Grandpa, what do you call this thing again?
It's a 66 Ford Bronco.
I think you got ripped off.
Why is that, honey?
It's got no Wi-Fi, no USB port, no Bluetooth.
Exactly. I guess we'll just have to talk.
Sometimes the best way to connect is to disconnect.
Is that the window button?
It's called a window crank.
Cool. The faster I move it, the faster it goes down.
This moment of escape was created by Haggerty
Being old is kind of cool, Grandpa.
Works for me.
for people who love cars.
Welcome back to the show.
Hold on, Dan. I got this.
Okay.
No, no, I'm kidding. We were kind of talking off the break, and I was talking about my personal business with selling dental practices and how some people look at me and be like, "Well, I can do that. I don't need you to do this." And I'm like, "Oh, really? Go ahead." Which I'm sure you run into in this industry as far as people saying, "I could do this myself." Like, well, good luck with that.
Right.
And Dan shaking his head. No, you can't do that.
You cannot do this yourself.
That was your same head shake of no, you can't say that, Nick.
No.
So I was confused. Yeah.
No, that is my no.
Yeah.
No way in hell would I do this by myself.
Right.
And I love to research and do things by myself. This is like, nope, not a chance.
Yeah.
I have a client right now, and he loves to analyze numbers. And the conversation we actually had today was that's all fine and well. Like you can crunch numbers and you can figure out, how much a home's going to escalate or not escalate or whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, what you need is someone who understands what's happening in each market and in each market time, right? Like we have cycles in the Northwest. They're repeatable. They've been that way for decades.
Yep.
Bubble or not, there's buying cycles in this market. And so, I mean, that's one thing, protecting you when it comes to the contract and law and if you're the seller, it's not always the highest price that's the offer you should take. It's the terms. It's the whole thing. And we don't need to go deep into real estate right now, but at the end of the day, hire a professional. And someone told me one time when I was hiring an attorney, he said, you cannot overpay for a professional. And that's true. It's a hard pill to swallow when I had to pay for the attorney, but the attorney maybe cost me a couple grand, but probably saved me 10.
Yep.
And that's what a good realtor does for you.
Well, and I think, not knowing very little about the real estate market, I mean, it's funny because I've been looking at it recently for myself and my parents and things like that for the future. And I'm noticing that a lot of these sellers are getting off scot-free in the fact that people are coming in going, here's my money, I don't want an inspection. I'm going, are you insane? Like, right. I mean, and a lot of these houses that are selling, you're going, there's all these problems, but there's so much cash in the market and these, I don't even know what you would call them in the fact that it's not on the market, but you can come see it. And on Monday, we'll be taking offers that are ungodly over. And right. I mean, there's a lot of, people out there that are kind of, I will say, hurting the market, and not only sellers but buyers and some of the real estate agents. But it's such a weird market right now. But I mean,
it's crazy right now.
Yeah.
Like I'm really lucky. My agent walked all over the selling agent because they were terrible. But I bought a project and I knew that going into it. The house is great, but I mean the barn and the shop is.
But to be fair, they made it more of a project between when you closed and moved in.
That's true, but that's very true. But I mean, Nick helped me replace 2 walls in the barn over the weekend. Thank God.
We just put one back up technically.
Yeah, I had to move the giant water tank into the barn in order to get the tank in. I had to take down 3 walls actually.
Those walls were already there, Dan. We just put up new boards.
That's right. That is correct.
That is those walls were always there.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But reapplied.
Yeah.
Thanks to a lot of loopholes and a great agent, I think my stress level has been so much lower through this process because this is all stuff I knew about when I bought the house. And if I didn't have somebody who knew what they were doing and where to look and what to walk me through and what I was looking for, I would have been in hell.
What do you mean you want water on your property?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and the classic saying, you don't know what you don't know.
Oh,
and
live by it.
Everybody thinks that they.
No, I really do. It's like there's so many times where I was like, I wouldn't even have known to ask that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we all watch HGTV, so we're all experts in real estate and renovation, are we not?
Hey, the Gaines can teach me anything they want. Joanne is my hero. She should have a halo. Yeah.
So I have a question for you guys.
Uh-oh.
Sure. So do you call him Brandon, Ben, or Brandon Ben Powell?
Brandon Ben Powell.
When you're like in a conversation?
Well, I mean, the reason I always call him Brandon Ben Powell is because we have a friend named Brendan, and I always and I have to decipher
a friend named Brandon.
Yeah, so it's Brandon Ben Powell. It's always Brandon Ben Powell. I've never actually called him anything but that.
Really?
Yeah, I just say it really fast all the time.
Yeah, Brandon Ben Powell.
I went on one of the Avant's scavenger hunt, one of the first ones.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it was Ben.
Who?
Brandon Ben Powell. It's a drinking game.
Oh,
right?
there you go. Yeah, exactly. For him.
Have another drink, Brandon.
That he created, by the way. Just so we're clear. Yeah.
And it was right after he got his R8.
Yeah.
And I was the unfortunate guy who had the right to drive behind him. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you've driven behind an R8, but on dusty roads, but it has a weird vortex of crap that just flies up into your windshield. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
So does Brandon Ben Powell owe you a windshield, is what you're saying?
No, he let me use his radios while we're on that trip.
Well,
so it was I called it even.
So have your radio, Brandon. It's in my glove box.
Yeah,
not
you
my
can't
center
have it
console,
back.
my glove box.
Yeah, it's working its way through the truck. Yeah.
It'll get back to him eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. Brandon Ben Powell?
Yeah, my Z06 was like that, and everybody saw it in the rain. Nobody would drive behind me in the rain because you couldn't see anything from the back of the car.
I believe it.
Yeah,
I concur.
Yeah, Nick knows.
Yeah, so
GTR was better.
Yes, it was when it didn't squeak. Yeah.
If people want to get a hold of you, they can text, of course.
Right. Excuse me. So the easiest cell phone number for me is 206-777-5483. And you can email me, ray@yorkteamrealestate.com.
Okay.
There you go.
Or you can text RCS to 59559, and Ray will get back to you.
Again, any question you have, he will potty train your kids, sell your house, wax your floors. What else?
I'm going to laugh if he gets like a random text.
No, please don't.
Can you help me with my calculus?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it says that on his business card. Ray knows real estate and calculus.
I'll just forward it to Brandon Ben Powell.
That's fine. Brandon Ben Powell. Yeah, have Brandon Ben Powell do it. He's good at that. Yeah, absolutely.
Are you guys going into the Avant stuff coming up this weekend? The Chateau Show?
We are. I am attending the Chateau Show, yes.
The Chateau
Chateau Show? Yeah.
Yep.
That's going to be a good one. So we should talk about that a little bit, though. The Dino Day at Carb Connection, again, I know Chad and Amanda are planning to be there with their Nissan Figaro, probably trying to see if it will turn the drum on the dyno.
Yeah.
Avance Magazine launch in Denver. That'll be cool. That's the 2nd. I wish I could go to one of those. Like, I really want to get an excuse to drive to Colorado again.
Yeah, like you don't need an excuse. I mean, you know. Aren't you driving? Couldn't you drive to Colorado on the way to Moab?
Yeah, it's like an hour away.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I mean, come on. Like,
go to Grand Junction.
Don't make me plan your trips for you.
Colorado National Monument.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Real quick, was it Bryce Canyon you were trying to think of last episode?
It was Zion.
It was
Oh,
Zion.
it was Zion.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was going, it's Bryce.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I listened to it again, and as soon as I heard it again, because I'm going through it, I'm like, it was Zion. This is the
Zion.
tunnel. The one he's the one
like,
he drives the tunnel. I'm like, oh, it's Zion.
The problem is we had the trip unfortunately got canceled or got shortened because we had a dog that passed away. But we had planned on hitting a bunch of stuff. We were going up and he had
Not
planned
dogs.
a whole
Not dogs
or deer. But
yeah, they were going to be on an epic road trip, and it got canceled.
Yeah, so
Felicia and I did a road trip in my Camaro through Bryce and Zion.
That's a great trip.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah. So did our friends at the Haggerty guys with
RPM Foundation?
No. Blake's app, Rallista.
Yeah.
Rallista sponsored a rally through Utah.
Nice.
For some of the best driving out there, Utah.
Yeah. Most definitely. So yeah. Yeah. Well, Ray, I really appreciate you taking time and coming in and doing this twice in a night.
Appreciate that.
So,
you can see Ray this weekend, Avance Classics on the Green. That is Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday.
We should be there. If tickets, I think, are still available. They call it
sold out.
Oh, they are sold out officially.
Just posted, yeah.
Okay. Chrissy, I could use a ticket to that.
We have tickets.
We have tickets for that. I know.
You're going to have to work for it, though.
I know.
So yeah. Actually, you can come. You can come and take over for me because I can be there in the morning, but then I have to leave. So you can be there. Yeah.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Either way.
Yeah.
I'll hand you a sticker.
There you go. Stickers. Yeah.
No, that'll be a good show. Just to clear that up, though, it is not just old classics. I've seen this go around. It was in the Drivers Club chat today. It's not just like old classics. It's cars that will be classics, future classics. It's a really nice, really high-end car show.
Oh,
perfect environment.
Yeah, it knows the list. Yeah.
And looking at the weather, it looks like it's probably going to be okay.
I hope so because
I really do too.
Seeing the last list, I got to meet with them on Thursday to help figure out where the cars are going to go, and some of them definitely going to need fair weather. So yeah,
it doesn't have a roof.
Yeah, ever. Yeah. So yeah,
I know a couple like that. So,
yeah.
Well, hopefully we will see you all this weekend then.
Yeah. So for this episode of Rain City Supercars, I'm Nick.
I'm Dan, and don't just get there. Enjoy the drive.